Subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified about the highlights of India's smartest podcast, The Ranveer Show. This is TRS Clips.
Like there's this podcast called Meditative Story that I listen to a lot. And I find that super exciting because I'm a person who really likes sound, like audio design, sound design always was my thing. Like when I used to work in MTV Channel V, I would always edit the elimination sequence in reality TV. So when it had the most like drama music, right? You're cutting from shot to shot, full ding 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 ho raha hai.
You did these episodes?
I started off on Rodi's post. Yeah, Raghu was my first boss.
Which season did you work on?
I did research for the season that Bani was in.
Okay.
I did research for that, and then I came back and I worked with the same crew on another show, which is the job. It's called On the Job. It was a career-based. Weird side note. On the Job, I had my contestants in some of the episodes were Tanmay Bhatt, Varun Thakur, and a few others. So they were all contestants in different episodes because I think they were in the advertising episode. So that's the period when I would actually used to love playing with sound, like do like 14, 15 layers of sound in an edit and sit and do that. So when I heard this podcast, this is basically what they've taken stories from interesting people, but almost layered that with really like a great sound experience to make it almost meditative, right? So it's about half an hour story, 20-minute story, but you're listening to it, it feels meditative. They've added a membership part to it where you get it without the ad, one, but also they have live events, there's a community, and suddenly if you find the experience of that podcast great, you are paying for the experiences beyond the podcast. Now for me, that's a very interesting angle to take, right? You made it deeper. You get access to the music of each of the episodes without the story. So suddenly you have an entire playlist which you might want to listen to at night or during the day. So I found that like how they built a business out of that to be the most interesting layering of what is in a sense a story in a podcast, which is almost like a base single person talking format.
I've actually got to ask you about this Channel V MTV situation. Why have they become irrelevant, or are they only irrelevant now in tier 1 cities? Because there was a phase where it was at the center of pop culture, where everyone was watching Splitsvilla, Roadies, all that. And I feel there's a case study in there about things going wrong because of evolution. And I don't know, is MTV Channel, okay, at least MTV, is it still relevant?
So Channel V technically, like in India, doesn't exist anymore. Channel V stopped airing ages ago. But I feel the interesting part is you look at what's happening in the States. You look at Emily in Paris. Emily in Paris is created by MTV. It's produced by MTV, right? So I think they've realized that because they can't play the streaming game the way everybody else. I forget the name of the CEO. I was listening to his interview on another podcast, and he said we still understand culture. It's not as much television driven, so we have to figure other ways. So because they understand that, they're getting into things like this. Like it's a show that's done so well for Netflix.
So they're saying they've accepted that they've not won the platform race anymore, but we still have the mind.
We understand the content.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Makes sense. That's a good pivot.
But if you look at it from like what an MTV and Channel V was for me growing up, I would only watch MTV and Channel V, right? Like my entire
For the
culture
music,
lens.
I'm assuming.
No, actually, even for the VJs, for the content
youth
entirely.
conversation.
Like I wanted to be a VJ at one point of time in life. Right? I think all of us wanted to be
same.
VJs. at
DJ
some-
was the YouTuber of
Exactly,
2006,
VJ was
right?
the YouTuber at that time. Like you wanted to be like a Nikhil Chinappa, like a Cyrus Brocha. You want to be those people. And at some point as that went along, I feel they missed the digital bus in just being able to transition a lot of the content that they were doing on television to digital platforms. Like
Why did they miss it?
if you look at it, your main money still came from television.
Right.
So no matter like I think early days of Glitch, we did a lot of content for MTV, right? They were prime client. So we've done stuff like we did a show called Nano Drive where we sent 4 nanos across India, 4 different directions. They would make money every day basis how far they went, how many tweets they got, how many like YouTube views they got. This is like 2011, 12-ish, right? We had like teams going out with multiple dongles and like uploading video because you had no bandwidth anywhere. And we did 3 seasons of that. And that really did really well for Nano because we took Tata Nano to like up the hills and everywhere else, right? I think we only lost like network some point in like Andheri in Bombay, but we got network in most other places, weirdly enough. But what happened is that the budget for that would still be far lower than what you would get for a show on the TV channel. And I feel that's where the flip happened. Like I remember I think the closest we came to mixing both together is we produced a season of MTV Unplugged for MTV, where we did a digital call out to bring in an audience. So we would say, if you like Shan, you like KK. We'll have a bus going around the city, which is Bombay, picking people up and taking them to be the audience. So suddenly we do almost a digital call out for an in-person experience, offline experience, which became a TV show. So we did a lot of that, but I feel their primary business model is still what money the TV channel makes.
Right.
And they didn't flip towards, I think Woot happened later, but when Woot happened, I feel they were primarily Splitsvilla roadies focused as a platform. So that's why that went in that direction. But I feel they missed the bus.
The money that roadies, Splitsvilla, whatever make now, it's from brands primarily.
Yeah.
Do brands still pay big money for television shows
They do. Because
in India? Like how much are we talking?
I wouldn't know exact numbers, but television is still a large medium in India. You can't take that away. There's a large part of the audience that watches it. And also what they've done smartly is a lot of that content now also resides on their streaming apps like Woot and everywhere else. So I think they will kind of do that really well. You'll also kind of get you have other content which is slightly less edited, lower censorship rules, etc. So, you open all of that up. So they've been able to kind of manage it as a package. And most TV networks don't just give you ad inventory for like one show, right? You're going to get it across multiple shows. It comes across there. So the package makes sense even today, because a large part of India still watches television. But it's just that now we watch it you'll have one TV at home, but you'll have multiple people watching stuff on their phones. So can you kind of tap into both? And the best way to do that is to have it still on television. Because there's something about credibility of being on it's like a hoarding, a TV. All these things are still in many ways considered more credible, even though digital is far larger now in many ways.
Very honestly, most of the creators I know still, seek being on a billboard, seek being on a actual magazine cover.
Yeah.
Because that truly means like you've, transcended the platform.